Those people have dialed in, we're here, just trying to figure out how to connect.
Hey, Perry, remember this morning, just cut and paste the URL, open it in Chrome.
Worst case, if we have to do this a couple times, it's the end of the world.
Kim Stockton's here.
Hey, Kim.
I have to take that dot out front, copy the dot, very front left.
Oh.
Maybe want to go back to the hardwire.
That didn't work yet either. Based on my organization's access policies.
Refresh that internet. Try Chrome.
All right, I've got CISS up. Let me do a roll call and see who's able to connect and who's not. Okay, Rich Meyer, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Ken Russell? Not yet. We got Mike Prejean here with me. Kim Stockton, you're on. Are you connected?
Yes, I am.
Okay. April?
I'm here, but not connected. I might have to go to Kim. Trying.
Jason, you said you were on. How about Patty?
I'm here.
And you're up and you're connected, huh?
Yeah,
all right.
I need to.
Okay, so April's walking over to view it with Kim. Kim, let us know when she's there.
Hang up. Okay.
Actually, I can't get in with that room number. Is it 869-200-453?
Yes.
Yep.
Let me try again.
We ended up copying and pasting it into Chrome like you suggested, Patty, and then it
Okay, I'm in.
came to life.
Okay.
You're at the log on window?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Kim, have you seen April yet?
She just walked in.
Okay, let's get started. Same drill, and Ben Spalding is here to tell us all about CISS and their product Inventory Pro. and full disclosure, I've used this before at IP. When I got there, we had about 20 different consignment programs, and they're all forward placed in third-party warehouses. None of them were on the floor, and had no way to track other than sending or faxing spreadsheets back and forth. So I went again looking for solution to that, and found it with CISS, and it worked very well. Easy to use and easily interconnected with the systems at the time that I was using. So, and they've done a lot of improvements. That was years ago when I was using these guys. And then to review for you, I'm wearing these folks out. You're the third presentation today, so lucky you, you're the end of the line. But you can, well, I'm just going to turn it over to you. I've said enough. I mean, you know what we're up to. I was just going to repeat why we're here. We want to explore functionality that will let us consign inventory on the customer floor and then track the consumption, receipts, consumption, and where the current inventory is.
Right.
So I'll let you tell us about how you can do that.
So thanks for the introduction. I've been working in the paper industry, and a few of us at CISS have since the early 90s. We started with SD Warren, which is now Stappy, and I worked with Champion and International Paper and a bunch of other smaller brokers and recyclers, et cetera, et cetera. So the International Paper Consignment System, I look back in my email, started in March of 1999, and we did bleached board, we did printing papers, specialty papers, and something in Telmany, I forget what that. Anyways, and the system basically got decommissioned. I looked, it was like January 1st of 2011. So we ran for about, I don't know, 12 years.
Yeah, that was Edge that pushed you out. Edge and SAP.
Right, exactly. So, you know, over 12 years, the system grew quite a bit. If I come over here, you can see all the different warehouse locations. In this instance, there's 63 different warehouses. Let me just page through them. You'll see a lot of similar functionality, and we have a improved interface. You can click and then on the warehouse, and you'll see all the different attributes that are relevant to the warehouse. The system has system users and groups, so you can have group permissions that you set up once, and then you assign users to the groups, and you can have administrators and employees, and then you can have customers that have limited functionality to just receive and basically ship or issue a roll. We've tried to streamline this, you know, quite a bit, so that it's really simple for your customers to just scan in a barcode, and you know, the tapping number, or what, I'm not quite sure what, you know, North American Roll ID or whatever number you guys are talking about. They can just scan that in, and the roll gets received into inventory. You know, I don't know how much you care about past history here, but the interface was set up originally using a tool called MQ Series that passed data. I don't know if Perry's going to remember either. I forget what the name of the system was before SAP and Edge.
PaperPro.
Yeah, PaperPro, exactly. So PaperPro would send out a shipment, and that shipment would get sent through a product called MQ Series, which is a guaranteed message delivery system from the 90s, you know, which has basically been replaced by XML and FTP and all sorts of normal new protocols. And the customers could see what was inbound to them, and they could receive them. And you know, here's a whole list of, you know, basically the functionality that the system built over the years. You can set up automatic billing, like per customer, so it's 15, 30, 60, 90-day billing. Let's see if I go back into the customers here. Yeah, see how there's this auto bill feature? And then there's age notifications, so we'll send them a warning, you know, 30 days before the roll is going to bill. And then you could put in what email addresses you wanted the warning to go to, and then what message you wanted them to receive with the roll numbers. And we also had a ship file, so when you know, rolls were shipped to them, they'd get warned. And a hold, we use hold when there's a quality defect on a roll, and you know, some QC kind of person needs to go inspect the roll and decide what to, you know, either to excess the roll or sell it as seconds or broke it. So, and again, you can see all these attributes for customers. So before I go too much farther, any questions so far? Guess not. Positive adjustment codes are just that, why you're receiving product. There's a whole bunch of system-generated lists in here, and these are just a couple on the menu. Negative adjustments are why the roll was used or moved. Can I ask a generic question? And I'm not sure anybody on the call is going to know this, but how do you anticipate sending out your orders? Do you have a predefined like message system you plan to use, or you know, how do you Excel or?
How do you mean? You mean orders or shipments? I mean. Well,
shipments, which are basically orders.
Yeah, ASN. More than likely.
Okay, so you're going to use EDI? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is how this worked. So if I go, this file that I just jumped over to is the basic format for consumption of rolls. And the reason I show you this is it gave the customers the ability, if they had their own internal system, they could generate this file and then upload this file into, you know, International Paper System to tell them which rolls got consumed. So there's basic functionality that we can supply to customers. You know, if they're running their own ERP WMS system and they really don't want to use yours, you know, we can give them formats that they can easily. This is just a really simple CSV file. I think 1 is a receive, 2 is an issue, 3 is a located move, this first field. And then I forget what these, you know, then you end up with roll numbers, and I think this last one is the date. And then the last field here is just a sequential number. So you can get.
That's a good point. Rich Meyer is the account manager for one customer specifically we're concerned with consignment. And Rich, the benefit here, of course, is if they do have their own system they want to use, this simplifies from their end, it's almost transparent whether they've got more than one supplier, right? Because we can go in and say, okay, if you got your system already, all you got to do is feed us the information and they keep us updated.
Right.
That'd be a great
And
way to avoid them having to do different, different process for different vendors.
right. And if they can give you, well, I don't know how, I don't know who's going to dictate the policies here, but if they can give you an inbound format, we can supply them. If they don't want ASNs, we can give them another simple CSV file where they could just receive in the product. Okay. So, and here's a sample ASN. I'm not exactly sure what this, I didn't look at the details of this function, but, this is an old EDI transaction that I just brought up. So we have, depending on how sophisticated you want to get, the system is basically done. And what we would do, we've got a brand new interface, which is this over here. And users, again, you have the ability to have system users and group permissions. It's essentially the same backend database, just an updated user interface. And with this interface, you can sort by columns. So if you click on this column, unfortunately, there's nothing in inventory. Oh no, there we go. So now I've got the in-stock descending. You can click on that, and if you click on the role detail here, or in this case, this is grinding wheels. It'll show you where the grinding wheels are and all the attributes of the grinding wheels. And I don't know how much. I don't think you're going to need to print labels, but the system has the ability to print barcode labels.
That would only be used. We don't need to do it, but some customers might find that useful if they've got their own number they want a barcode.
Right. You can store pictures in here. I should probably jump to a different system to show you pictures. Hold on just a sec. Okay. And you can print out a catalog, but again, I mean, you guys are dealing in rolls of paper. It's a pretty generic looking product.
Yeah.
But if somebody had a damaged roll, they would be able to take a picture of it and upload the image here, and then everybody could look at it. And the roll would be put on hold, and then you would decide whether you wanted to, make the customer dispose of it, ship it back, sell it as broke, whatever. Sell it as a second. Perry, I'm not quite sure where to go here. So the system has the ability to show loads that are in transit with the bill, the bill lading number, and all the shipment details. I'm recording this, by the way, so if somebody wants to rewatch it, I'll load this back up on YouTube and you can rewatch it.
Okay.
You can receive rolls by just scanning this package number is the TAPI or NARI number on the roll. So you just scan the roll number and it'll go in. Now let me jump over. We have a mobile interface that allows, where did I put it? Just go to it again. You can use a generic smartphone or tablet or industrial scanners with the system. Okay, so you can use iPhone, iPod, iPad, Galaxies. With those, you would use any sort of Bluetooth scanner you wanted. You can use keyboard wedge scanners with a PC or a Windows Surface tablet. And then we also support Android and Windows Mobile industrial scanners. We prefer Android at this stage of the game, but if somebody has Windows Mobile, we can make it work. the Windows Mobile down here. And you guys probably don't care about printing labels. But so device flexibility, again, you know, we have a mobile application that we've written in jQuery. Where you log in, and this is what you would see on a tablet. Now let me shrink my screen down a little bit here. This is what it would look like. And the user would log in, they'd automatically be assigned to their warehouse. And then they would have a, you know, receive, issue. We'd simplify this menu. Receive, issue, move, probably. Although they might not even need move. Depends on how sophisticated and how full your warehouses are, how many roles you have at them, whether they're, do you anticipate, well, let me go. In Inventory Pro, with warehouses, you can have as many warehouses as you want. And then inside the warehouses, you can have locations. So you can have A1, A2, A3, you know, you can have thousands of locations, bins, racking in each warehouse. It's completely up to, I guess, the end user, you know, how sophisticated they want to get on storing their rolls. They can put them, you know, just in one generic location, or they can literally, you know, have a full-blown warehouse management system. We can do cycle counts, there's overlays, there's physical overlays. It's over here. Yeah, the physical overlay was intended so that if for some reason people were worried that the inventory might be a little bit out of sync, we could download and overlay the inventory. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's burned out.
Well, and what he's showing you, here is one of the things I liked about dealing with the third-party entity rather than try and build it ourselves is because all of this stuff we built as the need arose.
Right.
So it's a lot easier, in my view, to get that done than it is to run to Patty every time we want something done and say we got to spend more money. I mean, these guys created a lot of the stuff based around the requirements that we had earlier.
Right. So what I brought up here was we have that abrasive company doing consignment using our new interface, and their volumes are small enough that what we do is every time the end user consumes an abrasive tool, it sends back to the home office an email saying, you know, that such and such customer used the roll or used the wheel, and they generate the invoice manually, which I don't think it's not practical for you guys, but you know, communication here, we can do it through XML, FTP, EDI, you know, any combination of the above.
Yeah, the key with consignments, making it as easy as you can on the customer end, and I like that. Right. I like that view you showed us because you can really simplify it. And what we don't know is when we get into these situations whether the customer is going to have their own inventory system they want to continue to use, in which case you showed us that you can manage that. If they've got multiple consignment vendors within the same building and they're using the vendors' systems, then that could get a little confusing. I guess you'd get around that by they're going to probably most likely want to use the same device for all the vendors. Just program it so you pick the vendor that you're dealing with and scan them in.
Right. So I just picked up an aged inventory report. Again, it's showing all the attributes. Some of these are multi-role packages. basis weight, caliper, size, weight. All of this can be exported out to Excel. Click export. Honestly, I haven't tested much of this, so I apologize.
And we use those reports just to alert sales or tech service when they're going into a facility as to what inventory issues we might have, just so they can address them when they're there.
Right. We do have import-export utilities in our generic system here. So, if your customer wanted to export all their product out to an Excel spreadsheet, it's easy for them to do. It just pops up in Excel. And that's basically everything that's in their warehouse in an Excel spreadsheet layout, and then they can do whatever they want with it. We do have purchase orders, shipping orders. I'm not really sure they apply. We do also on each item we have reorder points, and the reorder points are per warehouse. The system I'm in right here only has 2 warehouses, but you can set, whatever reorder points you want.
So you could, based on min-max, reorder point, reorder quantity, you could spit out the requirements for us to replenish.
Right, exactly. We also have utilities that, will suggest replenishment orders for you. Not quite. This is all like old hat to me, and everybody's being quiet. No questions.
Well, what do you think, Evergreen people? Any questions, comments around this one?
We can set you up with demos, obviously, if you want, Perry, so people can log in and play with them.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. No, not at this moment.
Okay.
Perry, we generally sell this by concurrent user, so you can have thousands of users in the system, and if you only need like 10 at a time, you just buy 10 licenses.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know what kind of volumes you're looking at.
We've got right now just a couple of situations we're looking at for customer consignment. We do have a few forward placed 3PL situations, which, just depends on how April and her customer service team view this, if it were implemented versus what we're currently using, for instance, for Love and Dallas and that sort of thing, as to whether we'd want to switch over how we handle it. We've got 20 different customer stock positions, and the sales guys say some of those probably would benefit from a consignment, assuming we can justify it with increased business or holding on to business. But in any case, your SKUs are going to run anywhere from half a dozen to 30 per location.
That's nothing. Okay. Yeah, you can also, when it comes to where product lives, you can assign the SKUs to particular warehouses. So the only warehouses that the SKU is relevant to will see it. They don't see your whole product list, they just see their SKUs. So it's a way, you know, if you private label product or whatever, only that customer will see their product.
Okay. Well, as I said, Ben, we've probably worn out the audience, but I think you've done a good job explaining capabilities. It's good to see it in the context of our business, certainly, and the flexibility and ease of use is something that's going to be important.
It's been around for a long time. We've been doing this since the early 90s. So.
All right. Well, if none of the Evergreen people have any more input or questions, we'll let Ben go. And the next steps are going to be, I'm going to work on scope, and then they'll give me the opportunity to tell you, Ben, what it looks like, so we can get some kind of a ballpark number around what the cost would be and the timing and connection requirements and that sort of thing.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for everybody calling in.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Sure.